Last hour, I interviewed the international spokesman for Hamas, Bassem Naim. He was in Doha and part of the hostage negotiations. He confirmed in the last hour, yes, that there is a ceasefire agreement in place, but he described it as a humanitarian pause, different technically. That interview, if you saw it, was an illuminating experience, at least for me. I think it exposed Hamas on many levels. In that 10 minutes that I spoke to him, Bassem claimed that there were no tunnels or weapons in Gaza underneath hospitals, and that the footage that we've seen provided by the IDF is a trick. He revealed that Hamas doesn't view most Israeli hostages as civilians. They regard them as soldiers, minus about 60 women and children. And when I asked him about the attack on October 7, he claimed it wasn't Hamas, it was, quote, Israeli jets.
The 1,400 people, including 200 Palestinians, our own people, they were killed by Israeli jets, blindly attacking the musical festival. This is the hardest.
So you're saying, sorry, Bassem, so you're saying Israeli jets killed these young people at the music festival? Is that what you're alleging here?
Yes, this is not I say this. This is why Haaretz
Israeli jets. There was no bombings at the music festival.
This is the Israeli media.
I'm sorry, Bassem. That is completely untrue.
Why?
So you think Israeli jets killed innocent Israelis at a music festival? Why?
Because simple. Israel is believing, the IDF is believing in the so-called Hannibal doctrine. Hannibal doctrine means, in the IDF, if any Israeli is arrested or captured or the Israelis given the IDF give themselves the right to attack the captured one and the capturer in the same scene, and this has been done many times. For example, in 2014, one Israeli soldiers were captured, and they have killed him with 300 other Palestinians.
A lot of that didn't make sense there at the end. It was well into conspiracy theory realms, and it should be pointed out that Hamas is a terrorist organisation. That's how the Australian government recognise it, and they don't represent all Palestinian people. But Palestinian people living in Gaza are at their mercy at the moment. Let's go now live to Tel Aviv. Israel's Defence Force spokesperson, Lieutenant Colonel Jonathan Conricus, joins us now. Jonathan, it's hard to know where to start after speaking to that Hamas spokesperson, but perhaps is it most illuminating for you that Hamas is seriously claiming 48 days on that they didn't attack Israel. In fact, it was your jets.
Yes, good morning, Lara. You know, for many years, people in Israel, including people in important places of power, and many leaders around the world simply didn't listen. And all we have to do is listen to what Hamas seniors say. I didn't see yet the entire interview that you aired, but I will see it and study it. But I have listened to other full and very compelling interviews that Hamas seniors have given in Arabic, intended for domestic and Arabic use, where they are very clear about their intentions, their strategic aim, and what they want to achieve. And if we only listen, then the picture is very clear and it should be very simple to understand. They want to eradicate Israel. They don't distinguish between military and civilian. For them, the entire land of what they call Palestine, what I call the state of Israel, is to be conquered by force through jihad, and they will not rest and they will not cease until they achieve this aim. And these are the words of Ghazi Hamed. He said it on Lebanese TV 2.5, 3 weeks ago in plain Arabic, and you only need to listen to what they say. And he also said that they will do October 7 again and again and again until they win.
Well, they probably need to get their story straight, because Bassem Naim says October 7 was a an own goal, a self-attack from Israel on Israeli citizens. But look, the reason that this is important, and I want to talk to you about what's going to happen in about 6 hours from now. That interview really highlighted such difficult circumstances, and it really, I think, showed why it's so difficult and why it has been so difficult to negotiate with Hamas for a humanitarian pause, a ceasefire, and the swap of hostages and prisoners. So as we sit here this morning, are you confident that this is actually going to happen in 6 hours' time? What assurances do you have?
We have an official statement made by the Qataris, I think is the closest you can get to some kind of assurance when you're dealing with a terrorist organization like Hamas. Other than that, Hamas are an organization of liars and cowards and corrupt, hateful people. I don't trust their word for anything they say or anything that they claim to that they're going to do or have done in the past. It's all lies through and through. So we are cautiously optimistic that this agreement will be honored. We are preparing to implement it, including ceasing our fire and our combat activities, and to prepare to receive at least 10, maybe more, of these women and children that have been in Hamas captivity for 47 days. But we are prepared for it not to happen for various reasons that may lie with Hamas, and of course to respond accordingly. But let's hope and let's see that this is the first and successful stage, and then more Israelis will be released, and that will be a very good thing for them. And then once that is successfully completed, we will return to fighting.
Okay, you said 10, maybe more hostages to be released this afternoon, our time. So is it not clear? Do you not have a firm number or list of hostages that you will receive?
Yeah, the number is 13, and okay. There is a list of people and names. They've been notified by Israeli authorities. So, by the way, have other families whose loved ones are not on the list. Many are, of course, waiting and eagerly anticipating to be amongst the fortunate ones. And we are all, geared towards this. But dealing with Hamas, we know that they will continue to deploy each dirty trick in the book in order to manipulate the situation and to bring as much pain and frustration and suffering to the families as possible for their political aims. That is why I am guarded and a bit careful when speaking about what will happen in the future. Yeah,
fair enough. And after speaking to the Hamas spokesperson, I completely understand why. So when you say you have a list of hostages that will be returned, are you talking about a list of 50, or are you getting it only in increments? Do you only have that list of 13?
Yeah, it's on a day-by-day basis. And it's intentionally done like this by Hamas in order to control and dominate the situation and keep everybody on their toes and keep the level of anxiety as high as possible for the families that are waiting for news about their loved ones. They want this drama, they want the suffering, they want the publicity, they want the excruciating pain for families waiting to hear from loved ones, children, babies, women. That is what they want, and unfortunately, at this very local situation, they have the ability to dictate those terms.
It's curious to me that there is a level of trust here. I mean, there has to be in this agreement, whether you like it or not. Why did Hamas agree, as I understand it, to release these hostages and then not receive Palestinian prisoners for up to 2 hours later? Is that correct?
There's always a time gap, right? Things can't happen totally simultaneously.
But it wouldn't, I mean, Israel would have never have agreed to do it the other way, right? You would never have agreed to release Palestinian prisoners and then wait, 2 hours to get hostages.
No chance, because we are dealing with liars, thieves, robbers, and rapists and murderers. So there's no chance for that. And what we have agreed, and the whole scope of the agreement here is with American assistance and guarantees from Qatar, which has a certain influence over Hamas. And that is why we agreed to it from the beginning. I don't think that we would be sitting here talking about it had it not been for the very positive and positive influence of the United States of America, including personal involvement by the president and his whole team. I don't think it would have happened without that intermediary functions.
Okay. One final question, which I suspect that you can't answer. Emily Hand, do we know anything of her whereabouts and whether she will be released this afternoon?
Sadly, I don't have any updates about it. I know that it is a topic that is close to heart in Australia. Of course, it is extremely close to heart here in Israel. She is one of more than 40, almost 40 children being held by Hamas in Gaza. And as soon as there will be information available, then what the military will do is first and foremost reach out to the families and inform them of what they know and what's going on. And as soon as we will have more information, the families will know, and then the public will know. And hopefully we will have good news for her family and all of the other families in short time.
Jonathan, thank you.
Thank you for having me today.